Hello, I'm Joel.
And I'm Alex.
Welcome to the Commander's Journey, the place where we discuss our favorite format of Magic, Commander, from the perspective of a new player.
And an experienced one.
And this journey is for new Magic players who are interested in Commander. So this last weekend, Alex, I had a lot of fun. I was kind of late posting the previous episode because I was having way too much fun down south.
What were you doing having so much fun, Joel?
we were at Disneyland, happiest place on earth. I took my kids down to Disneyland. My wife, my sister came with me. It was a blast. We had a great time. Spent a few days there. Went both to original classic Disneyland and then California Adventure the next day. And I got to say, that Star Wars land was pretty awesome. I was wondering, what's your favorite Disney character? Well, now it's funny because like there's not just it's not just like Mickey or Goofy anymore because you got like Marvel.
I could pick Homer Simpson now. Like you got.
He's
Disney?
a Disney.
I have quite a large selection here.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm in between Pixar and Marvel, and I mean it seems like Disney's bought just about every company out there. I really hope they kind of buy DC because they need some good.
They could use some good movies. Yep, we'll get that crossover.
So,
that'd be something.
No, so in lieu of that, who's your favorite Disney character?
I have no clue, Joel. Holy cow. I mean, there's a lot of movies I like, from Disney, especially, the famous 90s ones. I really like Jumanji growing up.
Jumanji?
Let's as of right now, let's go with Robin Williams' character from Jumanji.
So Robin Williams.
I love him so much that
Williams
I can't remember what
Disney?
The character's name is.
I don't recall that.
I don't recall him either. But in my head, he's Robin Williams.
We're just
going to
say Robin Williams is your favorite Disney character.
It's not incorrect.
That sounds good.
Here we go.
Yeah, but no, we took the kids to that new part of Disneyland, Star Wars Land, and it was really awesome. Now, I mean, I was told going in, I heard a few different opinions, and there's things there you might nitpick about, but overall, I thought the experience was great. The feel of it. I think what they did the best was you walk in there and you really feel separated from the rest of Disneyland, and the Millennial Falcon's there. You got stormtroopers walking around, and everything you do. I mean, I didn't order any of those like green or pink.
That's
juices.
exactly what I want to go do when I go, Joel. I want to order something crazy.
Yeah, well, with the kids, it was the rides. We went on. I don't even remember the name of the ride. We went on a few rides, and it was a blast. It was fun. It was great when the stormtroopers passed by my 7-year-old, and they asked him like. I can't recall exactly what they said. Like, are you here to make trouble, or are you just a passer through, or something like that? Yeah. My kid just froze. He's like, I don't know what to say to these guys. They asked him a few times, and they just walked on. And I was like, okay. But yeah, anyway, Disneyland, fun time, great weekend. Yeah, and then back to work, and we're both going back to work right now, right? A bunch of work.
I never left the work, Joel.
No, you didn't leave.
It's okay. I need a vacation, too. This is what this is telling me. I need to take a pause and find a moment to just rest and relax.
Yeah, man, you just got to go. You got to make it happen.
So you didn't do much of the rest and relax side of things, but you did have a better...
It's physically exhausting, but it's just freaking awesome and fun.
Well, it's rewarding, right? It's really, it's one of those things you'll remember it forever kind of thing.
Yeah, when you get your kids, the light in their eyes, it's a lot of fun. They're having fun, you're having fun. I mean, it's the happiest place on earth, right? What can go wrong, right?
There you go.
All right, so today we're going to talk to you guys about the top 5 budget black single target removal spells.
Say that 5 times fast.
Top 5 top 5 budget black single target removal spells. That is a long title.
Yeah, it really is.
But we've been doing this top 5 episodes, and we want to give you guys great budget options, and then we want to talk about the different colors and then what they do best. So, and give you some options for those things in your decks.
And black is known for its creature removal and that single target, get rid of a creature on the board. So we thought we'd focus on that for black. And we got some interesting options. The one thing I'll say is when we were building this list, there are so many different choices for this. Holy cow. Even compared to, We did green ramp and blue card draw. I stretched a little bit on the blue card draw, trying to make sure, I had a little bit of this problem. But with green ramp, there was a generally considered best options, and they pretty much fell in line to what I was thinking, what you were thinking while we build that list. And with blue, it was the same thing. But with black, it was so bad. I mean, like, we look at budget and you look at that, there's like 600 choices still. And then, you narrow it down from there, and you narrow it from down there. I mean, I know there was one point where at 30 and we were picking between them, and then down to 10 and 8. And now we finally settled on these 5.
So we settled on 5. There's obviously a lot of removal spells in black. I mean, if you're just buying packs or boxes or bundles or whatnot, you're going to have black removal spells at your disposal. Just use those. But these are really probably what we think are 5 of the top budget options. And really, it's just some of the best single target removal spells in black.
These are all fantastic either way. And the one thing we're going to say too is that we're kind of making an assumption here. Like, there's so many, again, black single target removal spells that just trying to, your deck, from whatever small nuance it has, can drastically change what your top 5 choices would be in that deck. It so changes based on what the rest of the cards are. This one, we're really just looking at in a vacuum as much as we can get away with.
And trying to give you 5 of the best and 5 of the most straightforward, because there are some, like you said, that depending on your strategies, if you have a sacrifice strategy or if you have a strategy trying to do something different, there are different removal spells that synergize better with those types of strategies.
There are so many, but I think that helps too with the budget thing. It makes a lot of these options cheaper in that you have the top ones, but we also have ones that just with the slightest nuance is better for your deck because it synergizes better.
Exactly. So let's get started. Let's talk. So our number 5 card, budget black single target removal card, is Price of Fame. It's 3 and a black for an instant. It says this spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets a legendary creature. Destroy target creature, and then surveil 2. So there's a lot going on here. It is 3 and a black, but it does come in at instant speed. And it has the possibility for cost reduction. And in Commander, everybody else's commander is a legendary creature. So you're pretty much guaranteed there will be a target you'll be able to hit with that cost reduction. And if not, you at least for 4, you still get to destroy something.
Yeah, 4 is not a bad rate to begin with. It's slightly more than you probably want to pay, but it's doable. And on top of it, again, most of the time you're going to hit for 2. A lot of things are legendary in this format. A lot of cards in 99, let alone the commander itself. And then you get the rider on there with Surveil 2, and that is important.
Yep. And for us newer players, Surveil 2, the text on here will tell you what it does. You look at the top 2 cards of your library, and then you put any number of them into your graveyard, and the rest on top of your library in any order. So it's a little different than scrying, because you're putting some into the graveyard, but you're basically able to go through those 2 cards and kind of sift out what you want or don't want.
You get that bonus in there, and again, I think the Surveil 2 kind of puts it in that number 5 slot.
Yeah, but I mean, and for instant speed, you basically pay 2 to sack somebody's commander or a legendary creature they have on the board. Is a really, really good card.
Exactly. So on to our number 4. Our number 4 is Victim of the Night. Is black and a black for an instant. Destroy target non-vampire, non-werewolf, non-zombie creature.
So this is a little bit better version than murder, because it costs only 2, right?
Exactly. And if you're fighting that vampire tribal deck or you're fighting the zombie tribal deck, this is not the card to have. But otherwise, this is just a better murder.
So if everybody in your playgroup likes to play vampires, werewolves, and zombies, don't play this card.
This is not as good in that group at all. It is not. No, don't run it. But for every other game that you're playing, this will take out. This is, again, just better cost and murder. It's will take care of, again, 98% of what you see in an average Commander game.
And I think it's very important for to understand in Commander, especially for newer players, is it's hard to keep up, and even as you continue to play, it's hard to keep up mana for these spells because they're at instant speed. These are not necessarily spells you want to do on your turn. These are spells when somebody else is pulling out a big creature or something, you want to react to it. You want to instantly kill that. But you have to leave the mana up. So leaving 2 mana up as opposed to having to leave 3 mana up is a big deal. It's just because that's 1 more mana you get to spend previously that turn. So that is something that is a learning curve when you're first learning the game. At least for me, it was like trying to keep that mana up and think ahead and go, I got to keep some pieces up so that I can do something on somebody else's turn with this card in my hand.
And we can talk about too that having most of these things on this list are going to be instants. Instants adds you so much flexibility, and the fact with removal spells, you can wait till your opponent gets to their combat step, but they decide they want to swing at you or whatever, then remove the creature. And when you do that, all of a sudden you're looking at a situation where they've maybe overcommitted mana-wise to something that just got removed. They, put a lot of eggs in one basket, or at the very least maybe just messed them up a little bit more than they were intending. And just because you did that at instant speed at the last second you could and just got rid of it.
I know that's happened to me when I've had a certain amount of mana up. I've sat there, counted it, and been like, I can cast this creature, and if I do, I can do then cast this. And then when I cast that creature, somebody instantly exiles or kills it, and I'm just like, okay, you just ruined my entire plan. Now, what am I going to do? So yeah, as the person doing the removing, you want to be able to have that flexibility. That's why being able to do this at instant speed, I think, is vital, very important. But in lieu of that, our next card is not at instant speed.
Nope, we're going to turn around and ignore it.
And we're going to ignore instant speed just for this one, but it's such a great card. It hit our number 3 spot, and that is Finale of Eternity. It is X, black and a black for a sorcery. But it says destroy up to 3 target creatures with toughness X or less. Now, if X is 10 or more, return all creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Now, I don't know, this might end up being a pet card of mine, but it's definitely a card I love. One, because it won me a game early on in my commander journey when I was playing my Tesa deck. Because I got that X to be 10 or more, and I was able to return all those creatures from my graveyard straight to the battlefield, which basically made it impossible for my opponents to win. So the fact that this is a removal spell, but it can also has the flexibility of being a finisher in a game is why it hit our number 3 spot. Even though it is at sorcery speed, but I mean, Finale of Eternity, it's just a great mythic card.
I think most of the time you're going to play this, you're going to aim at things with toughness, 3 or less or 4 or less or whatever. Then it becomes a 5-6 mana spell, which is not great, but it's completely doable. And you are destroying 3 things with that. So you're taking out 3 single targets. And as you said, the flexibility for a finisher, that is very, very powerful.
Yeah, and especially because you're also in black, and recursion is something you think a lot of in black, right? There's different strategies. They have something to do with recursion. So the fact that you can recur everything from all the creature cards from your graveyard right to the battlefield, right to fight, right to do anything that you need to do is pretty intense. And if you can get that to happen, and I think I was playing online Brawl, and somebody was able to get that to 10 or more. And yeah, they finished me off. They just pulled their entire graveyard back onto the deck. I was like, okay, I'm done.
Well, especially once the game goes long enough, there's some things that are naturally going to get in there, even if you're not playing a strategy that adds to that. You'll get to where that becomes a very valuable proposition either way, and it just allows you to just win on the spot if they can't deal with it.
Exactly.
Okay, on to our number 2. Our number 2 is Snuff Out. It's 3 and a black for an instant, but don't let that fool you. If you control a swamp, you may pay 4 life rather than pay Snuff Out's mana cost. Destroy target non-black creature. It can't be regenerated. So this is a card that, in theory, really costs you nothing. You can just instant speed, destroy any non-black creature, and you pay 4 life, which in our format is very, very minimal.
Yeah, I mean, you start with 40 life, and then if you're in black, you'll probably have some strategies that are gaining you life because you use things like this that also use life instead of mana. I mean, and like again, we were talking about trying to keep mana up. With Snuff Out, you don't got to worry about that.
You don't. As long as you have a swamp, which, again, especially too when we're looking at the budget end, more likely you're going to play basic lands. But very easily you'll have a lot of swamps. Black likes playing swamps, and that is the only requirement it asks of you to get that reduced cost.
Yeah, I mean, it's just pay 4. You destroy. Now it's a non-black creature, so. That does limit you a little bit. You can only hit the other 4 colors or colorless, but it can't be regenerated. So right on that turn, they can't bring that back.
Well, it regenerate. Yeah, exactly. They cannot regenerate in response to it. That's going to get removed on, which does happen. It's not a useless text. It doesn't come up very often, but it does happen. And then again, just the cost of I would take out. Ignore black things. I couldn't destroy it with that, but not pay mana cost for the spell. I think that's a good trade-off.
Yeah, the fact that you don't got to pay for it in mana, but just in life. All right. Well, it was a close race between our number 2 spot, where we just talked about Snuff Out, and our number 1 spot. They're almost interchangeable. Either it could be 1 or 2. But we picked number 1 is Vraska's Contempt. It's 2, a black and a black, for an instant that says exile target creature or planeswalker. You gain 2 life. Now it is a little more expensive because you're paying 2 and a black, but you're exiling at instant speed a creature or a planeswalker.
And when we were looking at this list too, there were a lot of things that said exile on it. Vraska's Contempt was just clearly the best one. There were some that were close, or in various scenarios, especially if I want more exile in my deck, I would be happy to pick after I would choose Vraska's Contempt. But Vraska's Contempt, the fact that it hit both creatures and planeswalkers and exile them, and then also gains you 2 life, it really was the most bang for your buck out of all the exile effects.
Yeah, because there's really nothing to stop that card, because you're exiling a creature or planeswalker. It can hit just about any creature, any power level, any planeswalker on the battlefield. It's not trying to hit something that has a certain power level or more or less. You're hitting anything.
Exactly. And there's, other versions that cost more mana like this, and then, don't take out the Planeswalker Rider too. I mean, I believe this may be one other one where the only ones that hit creatures and Planeswalkers, and this was just by far the better bet. It's instant. You can do it, immediately. And just, again, if they're indestructible, it doesn't care. If all these other things that they can use to get around exile will just hit it right up.
Exactly. And it's good to have cards when you're doing single target removal. There's a lot that you're going to be able to get that'll say destroy, but the fact that you have something like you said that has exile, you're getting rid of that. That person's not going to be able to bring that thing back from the graveyard. You're exiling that completely from the game.
Exactly. That's a one-way trip for exile. That's about the only way you can really get something out of the game for good.
And in black, and there it is.
Very exciting. So that is our top 5 black or budget black single target removal spells.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening to this episode. We hope you guys are getting a lot out of it. And check us out on Twitter or check out our Patreon. And we'll see you next time.
See you.